If you're manifesting your specific person right now, but it seems like they might be pulling away or just kind of ignoring you, they're not. They're actually conforming behind the scenes. Today I'm going to be talking about how to build on that and build the momentum of the shift for your specific person without sabotaging it. Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. We're talking about your specific person in relation to the 3D reality and why what you might be seeing from them is not the reality. It's not an objective truth, and really delving into what's going on despite your 3D reality. So stay tuned to hear all my thoughts and advice. I'm going to start off strong with a Neville Goddard quote in just a moment. You can sign up for extra coaching and support if you have extra personal questions and you would like some one-to-one support or more direct questions that you'd like me to answer. You can become an LOA coaching darling. They're literally about to get their monthly Q&A once questions get submitted. And then also you can get direct coaching with me, and everything is on screen or linked in the description below. So take a look, and now let's start the video. 3D always lags behind your internal state. So once you start, as I use the analogy of a race, once you start and you take off running, the 3D is going to be behind. So it's not that it instantly gets reflected for every single thing. If you're starting in steps, it can absolutely be instant. And movement and a bridge of events might be instant and very, very quick. And you might see, instant reactions and, well, rather reflections. If, let's say, you're with your specific person and you're like face to face in a conversation or applying revision, straight away, that's slightly different. But with your overall manifestation, you have to remember the 3D is going to lag behind what you're doing internally, and that's what creates the real effect. So getting right into that Neville Goddard quote, I've written it down. Everything is happening according to your assumption. What you see in the 3D is only the echo, and that's by Neville Goddard. So basically what you're seeing, it's not a direct reflection. It's not an objective truth or fact of this is exactly what's going on. This is the state of your manifestation. This is what you can and will have. It's echoing back what you initially focus on, what you think internally with your inner conversations, with your repetition, with your focus, and it's your assumptions that are shaping everything. It's not that the 3D reality is telling you, what to think. What you think is telling the 3D reality how to be. Your specific person is then shifting according to your identity, to your assumptions, the way you see yourself. If you, let's say it's obviously in this case most likely, but it doesn't have to be, a romantic SP, if you're focusing on being single, rejected, ghosted, just not having a successful relationship, then that's what your SP is going to have to reflect back to you. That's the identity that you're embodying and that you keep reaffirming, even if you're not directly saying those kind of words. That's what you're basically telling your mind, and therefore it's being, echoed back to your specific person. And also because of that delay, this doesn't mean, it's going to take years and years, absolutely not. But even just, right before you really got into the groove, you really got into the state and really stayed consistent, your SP is likely right in this second as you're watching this video, still just finishing up playing out those old assumptions. They're not going to immediately reflect the new ones. So it's not that you're putting in work and it just doesn't work, there's no result. It's that they're still playing out the old assumptions. You need to give it a little bit of extra time. And if you keep reacting and spiraling all the time, every day, then you're just going to hold that in place and delay it and delay it and delay it. But if you stay true and stay on top of those new assumptions, repeating what you do have, the relationship, the communication, the commitment, whatever it may be, if you stay on track with that, then eventually, soon, they will have to physically reflect that. And then in terms of how it gets into your subconscious mind, obviously it's repetition that builds up a belief, builds up an assumption, holds that image, an idea in your mind, and your subconscious works gradually. It doesn't just, update on demand. It doesn't just immediately put into effect whatever you want just because you really want it and you really feel strongly about your specific person. It needs that consistency and it builds it up. So over time, all of that builds momentum. It doesn't just immediately start updating. So if you do get triggered, you have to be aware that that is going to be part of the reason why you're not seeing, super quick, immediate results. And yeah, sometimes it needs a little bit of time. Like I said, a couple days, even a couple of weeks is relatively normal if your mind needs to conform to those new assumptions. But if you feed into this idea of, oh, they don't want me, they're not committing to me, there's probably a third party, or if there is a third party, you're just putting all your attention and focus there, then that's what they have to reflect. You can't keep thinking something and then be frustrated or expect your SP to act differently. They are going to reflect where your focus is. So if you repeatedly or have a pattern of reacting, then that's going to pull you away from the version of you who has them. It's going to pull them away from fully conforming and continuing to build really significant momentum into becoming the version that you want, the version that gives you the most amazing, best treatment and commitment. The more you react, the more it does build up a reaction and effect where, if you keep holding on to or reminding yourself of old beliefs, old assumptions, old arguments, even anything to do with dating or relationships, if you don't have a bad history, let's say with your specific person, which ideally you shouldn't have a bad history with them, because you shouldn't have to conform someone to that effect, but that's a whole nother topic. So yeah, if you keep reacting, you're going to hold them in that place and you're not aligning with the version of you who already has them. So flipping that around, and then also, the kind of mindset you want to say and the reaffirmation you want to give yourself is, of course they want me. They're catching up. They're conforming every day, every minute, every second. They are literally conforming more and more. They are becoming the version that I want, and it's strengthening. It cannot weaken. Keep reminding yourself they're conforming. It's happening behind the scenes. I know they want me. I know they'd want to be with me. I know I'm their dream man, dream woman, dream person. Reaffirming that version. That's your identity. That's the confidence that you want to embody, because you want to filter out and completely override that doubt that you might be experiencing. So shift your focus away from what they're doing, what's been going on in 3D, to who you are in that relationship. Like I said, confident, secure, self-assured, reassured in general, because they give you that reassurance and comfort and security and loyalty, right? Like you don't second guess, you don't have to check up on things, you don't check the 3D, you feel confident, secure, you know what's going on, you know what you have between you guys, and you want to embody that and imagine yourself from that version. Have some inner conversations from there, try and build up your mood, feel motivated, happy, positive, whatever you want to do to get into that right mindset. Try and find those moments and then build into that, visualize, embody it and say, this is who I am now. I am confident, I'm secure. I know they want me. I know my value. I know how good the relationship is. That's the kind of mindset you need to focus on. Always remember that your 3D reality is catching up to your inner state. So your 3D needs to catch up with what you focus on. If you keep thinking in the old way, with old assumptions, negative thoughts, doubting yourself, not feeling confident in general or in dating, then that's what your 3D is going to have to continue to reflect. It needs to catch up. So if you have been consistent, or maybe just recently you've started getting super consistent and knowing what you should be doing with your manifestation, give it a little bit more time. It's working, it's bubbling up under the surface. So one of my classic analogies, think of it like an echo. It takes a moment for it to reverberate. So it's not that you constantly scream out like SP, 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 why am I not instantly seeing it? Why is it not in front of me? If you waited a couple seconds, it would echo back to you. So you need to understand that it's going to reflect back to you, but you need to hold that as your dominant focus. Doesn't mean you have to work super hard or all day long or figure out some kind of magic tricks. It's not like that. It's literally the quality of your thoughts. You just need to build up and get consistent with thinking from the end result. So when you have silence or you're not seeing it physically reflect, just take that as confirmation. Tell yourself it's taking effect, it's taking root, it's building, it's growing. Just because I'm not seeing it yet, that means behind the scenes things are conforming for me. So from a quantum perspective as well, like quantum shifting, your physical reality is going to reorganize based on your identity, based on where your focus is. So identity means how you see yourself, how you see your life, how you see your relationships. Who are you? Where is your life? What thoughts are you having? So it's not about deluding yourself into, assuming that you're living a completely different life. In a way it is, but I don't mean like you pretend and say the complete opposite. It's about building up new beliefs and saying, I have an amazing life because I'm happy in a relationship with SP, because SP sees my value, SP treats me amazingly, I feel confident in myself, I know my worth, and therefore SP sees it too. You know, it's like that. It's building up that identity, the ideal version of you right now in your reality. That's who you want to see yourself as. And the quantum shift, becoming the version of you and having that reality, comes once you focus on that, once you start to hold that as more of a dominant state. So when you start assuming and you stop checking for results and checking up on your SP, you know, social media is a big one, that's when the conforming really takes off. You're not reliant on anything external. You're not trying to check and be desperate or, you know, impatient. You're trusting in it. You know yourself, you know what you should be doing, and you're holding that as a focus. That is where the conforming really takes off. So start and continue assuming the version of you who already has them, the perfect, amazing version that they also see, that they also value, because that's what's really going to build into that conforming. It is still happening, but if you want to really just get into that groove, that mindset, that tunnel vision where you just feel amazing, you're in that frequency for your quantum reality, your quantum reality, your quantum shift that you want, where you're with your SP and everything's amazing, then just build up that focus, build on it day by day, because the conforming is happening and it doesn't have to take a really long time. So yeah, that is going to be today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, found that useful. If you did, please do thumbs up, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and I'll see you guys next time.